So, hi. So my name is Michal, as Yossi said, and my background is actually in cognitive psychology, which is, I think, not so common with the non-common makers. But I got interested in computers, generally interested in behavior, in human behavior. And at some point in my studies, I realized that computers are behaving instruments. They can enable behavior. Or not, yeah. And they can also inhibit behavior. So, yeah. Okay, no, wait. Are you doing stuff on me? I'll do it. Okay, great. So, yeah. And yes, so behavior, right? So computers can enable me, computers, sensors, actuators, computation can actually enable me to create behaving objects. And that's really interesting because if objects behave, then the people who use them behave in different ways. And I thought that's really interesting. So one of the first experiments or projects that I made was with Michal Rothschild. And what we tried to, the question we asked ourselves is, can we make an object that will make people laugh? So the Laughing Swing, we made it at a GeekCon, kind of a geek conference where we met Yossi, and it was really a small adventure, but it kind of became a monster, and we've been going around with it to different countries and places, and this is actually in the Bloomberg Science Museum, Jerusalem. And the nice thing about it, it's not a project for children, it's a project that a lot of other people enjoy. I realized that what I'm interested in is interaction, so the kind of dialogue between people and computer, but more than that, the dialogue between people and other people through computers and everything that affords. So I set up this lab called the Interaction Lab in Holon, and we have students from all faculties, design, engineering, and other, come together and make objects that are interactive. So just one example from here, this is a course about learning through play. So on the top right, you can see these bumping cars. When they're going to crash in a minute, they're going to, can you guess? Okay. So they're gonna become purple because it's a project about how colors interact. Yeah. It's late in the afternoon, I know. And and here we have a course that we talked about on inclusive design. And so on your top left, you can see a prototype for a device that is for people who have sensory overload. So they see everything in the supermarket in shades of gray, except for the things that are in their shopping cart that they set up from home, and those they see in color. And all these are working prototypes, so the students get this experience. Here you can see on the bottom left, this is a remote control for an air conditioning unit, and if you're cold, then you kind of rub it, and the room gets warmer, and if you're hot, you blow on it, and the room gets colder. So it's kind of this intuitive model, and this is a course that Shachar gave in the Museum of Design in Holon, and you can see here it's called human typography. So they were getting people to write letters through posture. So they're trying to write, maybe you can guess what letter at some point. It gets better at some point. Okay. So, and we also work with kids in the community, and so over there you can see some high school students in Cholon. They adopted some benches in town, and they created some interactive projects over them. But I kept thinking about the swing, and what is it that's kind of interesting for me over there in this tightly coupled interaction, and I thought it was about synchronization, and how the swinger and the swing are kind of synchronized very tightly, and I started looking at this idea of synchronization also between people, and I came across some really, really interesting research from the last years. So, for example, in psychology and kind of neurocognitive psychology or whatever, and there is this, for example, this experiment called, they use this tapping paradigm, and here they put two people across the table from each other, and they have to tap. So each of them taps their finger like this, and they can see each other in some of the experimental trials, and others they can't see them, and very naturally, and you're probably guessing this, they synchronize. So their rhythms become synchronized, and it's very strong, the urge to do it, and if you try not to do it, you do it, etc. And that's not so surprising. But the amazing thing to me was that after this experiment, these 5 minutes of very, very mechanical, boring activity, when you ask them through questionnaires or through some kind of other experimental procedure, you find that they feel more empathy towards each other than they would in control groups. And they feel more similar to each other, which is another way to capture this feeling of empathy. And they're more likely to help each other, and they're even more likely to help other people. And I thought that's really amazing. So for me, as a person who's interested in objects and in design at this point, what can we do in the interaction lab can we make objects that make people more empathic to each other? Or how can we tap into this idea of motor synchrony, of this idea that doing something together, very, very technical, but motor, can induce this kind of feelings? So we came up with this idea, and we built a bicycle. Actually, we took two bicycles, and we took their front wheel, and we made it shared. So they don't go anywhere, but they can ride, they can pedal one in front of the other. It looks something like this. This is from the Tel Aviv Museum of Art. And they get some feedback. I'll show you a little clip. Yeah, so thanks. So the idea here was really that we can make this installation. We could give them feedback and help them to synchronize and make it interesting. The more they're synchronized, the longer they're synchronized, the world gets richer. And we had one kid explaining to the other. He said, "Here it's not about winning; it's about being beteko." We say in Hebrew, being, how do you say that? Yeah, being in a tie. So we like that. You know, a tie is okay for us. Yeah, and something we're working on these days, we're almost finished, is the audio version of this, because actually we didn't really like this idea that we're putting screens in front of, between these people, because we actually wanted to maintain, their eye contact, and so we're working on this version where we leave to them to reach motor synchrony, and then when they do, they start getting this kind of musical piece that grows richer and richer musically as they're synchronized longer. So just a little peek of this. It's actually still in work. So once they become synchronized, they get a beat, and the beat depends on their on their shared rhythm. I jump to. So after they've been synchronized for a while, they have this kind of richer soundscape. And if they move out of synchrony, they kind of gradually lose the musical instrument. Okay. Thank you. And there are many, many, many new ideas that we have with this thing because it feels really very rich, the territory. And one of them is this one. The idea here is that we have a playground that is split in half. And half of the playground is in one town or place, and the other is in another. And we make a playground that lets kids that can't meet otherwise, because maybe there's a border between them, it enables them to meet and to play together. So the idea here would be that this boy is sitting in front of this girl. I don't know how well you can see, because well, there's a girl there on the other side, but actually it's a screen. And the idea is that they would be seeing each other, but more than that, they would be feeling each other. And there's this kind of element of motor synchrony here. So only if he pushes can she go down, and only if she pushes can he go up. So it's this kind of synchrony, but over a distance. And we think maybe if we can, create some kind of a feeling of the other in a very, very symmetrical. Danny Kahneman was mentioning this kind of power structures of asymmetrical relationships, and I think that I was thinking that this whole synchronization thing is really about symmetry. So we put people in a very, very similar situation, and it may be not so surprising that they feel empathy towards each other. Okay, and we're looking for partners for this project, if any of you are rich and interested, please contact us. If you're otherwise interested, we're also happy to talk. So my collaborator in many of these projects is Shachar Geiger, and he's really amazing. And we prepared something for you guys so you don't sleep, something a little bit maybe more interactive. It has to do with synchrony, so here we go.
Okay, so first let me show you yourselves. If it works. Okay, live demonstrations always have their share of problems. Let's try again. Okay. So this is you. Welcome. You're in the President Conference. Okay. Now this presentation is about movement. So first of all, I want to show you your movements. Okay. So now you're welcome to wave your hands. Okay. This is you moving. Okay. Now stop. Okay. And now we live in a democratic country, so I want everyone to have a fair share. So I'm going to fix this picture. Okay, and now let me throw in a ball. So you're welcome to play with the ball. Okay, you're good. You're very good. And now, we're not finished yet. Now let me add a little challenge. Now you need to put the ball inside the hole, of course. So you'll need to work together. Again. Another time. Last time, don't do it. You notice the computer is applauding you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.